You're live now.
Business is one of the three greatest forces that changes the world. This is a quote from Joel Salomon, and he should know. Hello and welcome to Joel Salomon's keynote speech. My name is Jasmin, and I'm a journalist from Austria, and I write for the online magazine Tech and Nature, powered by trending topics. My core topics are sustainability, environment, startups, and technological innovations that provide solutions for current and upcoming challenges. Therefore, it is a special pleasure for me to announce the next keynote speaker today. Joel Salomon is the founding partner of Canada's largest mission venture capital firm, managing $240 million in assets, Renewal Funds. Renewal Funds is a top 50 impact fund manager. They invest in climate tech and organic food in North America. He is also a founding member of Canada's B Corp, a One Person for the Planet member, a board member of the University of British Columbia, and co-producer of the Just Economy Institute with RSF Social Finance. As a speaker and co-author of the book, The Clean Money Revolution, Reinventing Power, Purpose, and Capitalism, he also frequently advocates for the importance of values, meaning, and purpose in investing and the need to harness the power of business to preserve the planet. He also makes one thing clear. Investing in social and climate businesses and economic growth will increasingly go together, and investing includes responsibility for our wealth, power, and influence. Joel believes our money choices represent who we are and what we believe. We are ancestors of the future, with a deep responsibility to those who will carry forward after us. I'm very pleased to have you here today. Welcome, Joel.
Thank you so much for having me, and that's a beautiful introduction.
Thank you. So let's start with your keynote speech.
Let's go. You're asking questions.
I thought what you were telling us, you were just preparing the speech, and afterwards I would ask you some questions. But we can also.
Oh, why don't you start with the questions? And because I thought that was the format, so I'm ready for that.
Okay, great. So let's just follow on with the questions. So thank you, Joel, to be here. With Renewal Funds, you invest in climate and organic food startups in North America. What power do startups have compared to big companies? Can startups make a big impact?
There is so much innovation possible today. We have an explosion globally of people coming up with new solutions. Mm-hmm. And that is creating business opportunities for entrepreneurs everywhere. Our business is to find them in Canada and the United States. We are in our fourth fund. We're very proud of the portfolio, and we invest in companies and build them in the under $100 million category. And we have several hundred investors around the world. And we believe that the innovation possible with investing, the disruption of old systems, the nimbleness that entrepreneurs bring to this are building the next generation of our world together.
Great, that's wonderful words. And as an investor, which regions of the world do you find most interesting right now for social impact and climate tech developments?
It is clear that the entire planet is full of innovation and excitement right now. As I mentioned, we already focus on a very large geography of Canada and the United States. So we have our hands full just with that. But in terms of where possibilities are growing, as people at this conference know well, emerging entrepreneurs are really throughout the planet. And it's a very exciting time of reinvention and creating what the future will be. I think that opportunities are most exciting now where we are finding people that were generally underserved and underrepresented in the entrepreneurial sphere and in building companies. And the time to spread opportunity into previously underserved communities is crucial. We need all minds, all hearts, all hard work pushing towards how we will live together on this planet. When I was born, and probably others at this gathering, there were under 3 billion people on the planet. We are moving towards 8 billion now, very rapidly. We also know that there's plenty of money in the world. It's distributed in a way that leaves few with most and most with less. And we need to change that, because the entrepreneurial spirit is something that is growing in hearts and minds everywhere. Solutions, disruption, and better ideas are coming on quickly. So this field is so exciting at this time. And I know that people at this gathering are deeply immersed in all the innovation and possibilities that are emerging.
Great. That's a great version, and I hope it will work. But so far in many companies, sustainability is still the responsibility of the communication department. So
Yes.
the danger of greenwashing is therefore great, of course. So what influence can investors exert to ensure that sustainable action is not just seen as a marketing measure?
Yes. Well, we want those marketing measures. Those are important. But what we really want is innovation and recreation of how the economy works and how business drives the future. The possibilities for a clean, safe, and fair future are crucial. And these possibilities offer an exciting time. So many young people are drawn to entrepreneurship and building businesses. There is fantastic creativity, as we all know. And we are in a globalizing world. We no longer can live sheltered in our old ways of thinking. The technology era is creating explosive new opportunities, and there is massive economic opportunity underway. We still need government and regulation. Someone has to look after the commons and set the rules. Someone needs to be sure that opportunity is spread to the many rather than the few. And we want and need to have a good life for the majority of the population in order to have a peaceful and positive future.
Yeah. And in your opinion, do you think that large companies in North America are making enough use of their economic power for social and ecological change at the moment?
Well, there's 2 points of view on that always. There's never enough. We need far more.
Yeah.
And also, it's an exciting time. Our business sees so many entrepreneurs with great ideas, great energy, reaching into new audiences that have been underserved and tackling problems that we never imagined could even be tackled. And again, I know that this is a conference full of people that are supporting the change that is going to be necessary so that our children's children will have some kind of life and opportunity that at least touches what we have today, but hopefully far exceeds it.
Yeah, but I think it's a little bit difficult, because for money to be invested in sustainable and social change, it must first be earned, of course. But aren't sustainable practices and economic growth mutually exclusive? What do you think?
They are a dynamic balance that must always be paid attention to. There are all kinds of opportunities to make money that we might look back on and feel were actually potentially negative and less positive. So back to my point about the need for government, we need a regulation of the commons. We need rules to be set. And if we don't have that, we're likely to end up in a very complicated and disastrous situation. we affect each other from all over the planet in ways that we can often barely see or even be aware of. But we know that there are too many people with too little opportunity. And it is in all of our best interests that we be sure that opportunity is made more available, that the power of entrepreneurship, the power of what money can do, needs to be available to the many. It also needs to bring in principles that have kept the planet and the people going for millenniums. There is indigenous wisdom. We need a more feminized access to capital and to the levers of power. And we need to be thinking about what it will be like with 8 billion people and then 10 billion people, how we will possibly govern and hold and carry responsibility for all of that. I know that people involved in investing are finding more and more opportunities with investing in things that actually make life better for more people, not just a few. So this is an exciting era to be alive on the planet. And it's a time to take further risks, to go further in creativity and invention, and to be sure that more people are included in this process.
Yes, great. I think that's right, and that's the right way to go. And recently in the USA, in the European Union, and also in Japan, others also have tightened their climate targets already. Here in the European Union, the emission reduction targets are still too low, according to some scientists. So in your opinion, has the priority for such issues, like you announced, also arrived at the political level already, or are such efforts just scratching at the surface?
Well, we all know that politics has its pluses and minuses, and its good times and bad, and we have different points of view. I am an American who has immigrated to Canada. I consider myself, and I am a citizen of both countries. Without going too political, I'll just say that we all know that it's been a very turbulent time in the United States. And I'm very hopeful about what has happened and the turn of events, and that a much more positive vision about the future is underway. We are tackling climate, we are tackling inequality, and this will set a tone for several generations into the future. So my message to my colleagues, to the worlds that I touch, is it's time to have a fresh view, roll up our sleeves, get involved, and take responsibility for how business can play a key role in designing the future that we want.
Great. I hope they listen to you and they will act like that. So it's now a little bit another topic. So it's let's have a look to Bill Gates, because Bill Gates' company TerraPower is working on advanced nuclear power. So yes. Would you consider to investing in something like that, in nuclear power or other technologies that are a little bit?
Well, my approach to that is my group is not informed well enough about nuclear power to make that choice right now. We are going to have to experiment with all kinds of new methodologies in order to make it to the future. And I doubt that I will be investing in nuclear power, because we have our hands full in all kinds of great companies involved in reducing waste, inventing new methodologies, more efficiency, and there is an explosion of entrepreneurship around improving how society works. It might be traffic controls, it might be better materials, it might be emissions management. How do we do safer and less destructive harvesting of natural resources? How do we treat people more fairly and keep how do we keep peace? Yeah. How do we keep stable society? So this is a great challenge for all of the intellectual capital on the planet. And so many people now are drawn to building businesses and getting involved in businesses, seeing business as a tool for change. This is exciting. It gives hope. And we will find all kinds of new inventions and creativity about how we do things. We have to.
Okay. Yeah, that's really inspiring words. And to the audience, if you want to ask something to Joel, you just please write us, and we can ask Joel in this way. So now, what if you could just, if you would have 3 wishes, what would you want to just do first? What have to be the biggest changes? What we have to be the fastest way? Just the fast changes what have to be done.
Well, we are moving from a time in history where humanity was figuring out how the world works, and we did our best. People always wanted to take care of our families. We wanted to have a roof over our head. We wanted to have food to eat. But we now are in an era of a far more sophisticated humanity. And the creativity and innovation that is possible is really miraculous now. So as any of us that are involved in being exposed to what's going on with creativity and innovation, it is such an exciting time in history. So for those who are building businesses, for those of us that are building businesses that help others build businesses, this is a wonderful opportunity for creativity. We are the ancestors of the future.
Yeah.
It's up to us to be sure that future generations have at least as good and hopefully a far better life. We have to figure out what to do with 8 and then 10 billion people on this planet. We know that we are affecting the very geological factors of the planet now. This creates an era of great momentum for invention and recreation. I don't know, of course, I wasn't around in the past, but it's such an exciting time to be alive. The key is that this excitement and the opportunities that it provides are available to more people. Yeah. That is going to be essential. If the divide between those of us who have lots and those of us who have too little continues to spread and widen, this is going to create a tremendous burden on how we will live together. So it's time for human ingenuity and creativity to think about 100 years and 1,000 years into the future, because what we are doing now, today, is going to decide what the world is like in the future. It could be a very difficult picture, and it could be a beautiful one.
Right. So we have a question from the audience to you, Joel, and they're asking, does your group take part in investing in innovative photovoltaic renewable energy solutions? So do you investing in photovoltaic solutions?
Yes, if I understand that question correctly, our primary focus on the climate technology side is to look at the explosion of innovation that's underway and find opportunities that will make a good return for our investors and ourselves. But we feel that we are part of a wave and a movement that is driving towards ever further wisdom as well as intellectual capacity in figuring out how we are going to all live together and be sure that as many as possible are taken care of. So the number of entrepreneurs with great ideas is enormous now. Entrepreneurship has become, in many ways, almost like a new global religion. it gives us an opportunity to improve our lives, the lives of others, and to live a life of meaning and purpose.
Mhm.
And I think that is the greatest gift that we can give to ourselves and to others.
Mhm.
So back to the specific question, we get a stream of brilliance from entrepreneurs. And the challenge is to be smart enough and to be bold enough to get behind the kinds of new products and services that will change how the future unfolds.
Also, we have another question. Do you see the investors as pioneers in terms of sustainability opposed to the government representatives?
Well, one of the great things about being an investor and being independent is that we get to define our own reality to a large degree. And if we have been awakened to the goal of leaving a better world for the future, and if we are fortunate enough to have access to resources and information and exposure to the great innovation of the time, then it's a very happy picture for we who do have this access. It's very, very important that we remember that everyone doesn't. And just because our privilege and opportunity is so great, at our peril, we ignore the larger commons and the larger population of the planet, because we will, in an ever shrinking world due to information era, internet, technologies of various kind, and et cetera, we're going to face a lot of change in society. We are facing it right now. It will accelerate. And the challenges like climate that actually imperil us, the loss of species, the loss of diversity, this is the responsibility that we have in this era and this generation and the next one coming, that we start from a place of how do I make the world better? How do I support the future? Those must be the kinds of questions that we ask and that we design our lives around. There's lots of money to be made by doing this intelligently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, now we have another question, and I'm really curious how you will answer. It's like, can you share any insights, best practices that you have gained through investing in various companies? Are you sharing something with us?
Well, that's a big, broad question, but what I will say is that first of all, we must do our personal practices. We really must figure out who we are, why we are, what we are, and what we're going to do with that incredible blessing. And from there, there are some simple principles that come back to it, that come from maybe religious practices from all different religions, spiritual practices, and just meaning and purpose of life, which is we should act in ways that we would like to be treated and thought of. We should invest in and support things that we feel will make the world better, because we believe that our instincts tell us what will make the world better for many. So opportunities are infinite at this point. It's an exciting time, and it's important to do the personal work to figure out what actually matters to us, what we believe, and how we're going to behave and use this precious life that we're given.
Yeah, great. So do you have some unified method on how to track the positive environmental and social impact of your fund? Do you have some tricks to help with numbers?
Well, I've made my point about the first trick is to really work on our own integrity and understanding of the world. But beyond that, we were an early B Corporation. We've participated in many of the organizations and practices that are helping to give us guidelines and reference points for what makes a better company. How do we attract better employees? How do we ensure that we act in a way that doesn't create environmental fines and put us, we have consumers that are both our employees and our customers now who have access to more information, and they care. They care about who they're doing business with. This trend will increase as we have more information to understand companies and products and services that we receive. We're going to get smarter. Mm-hmm. And we will increase our standards. We'll have more information to find out how things are made, where they come from, who they affected, and whether ourselves and the companies we invest in are behaving as good citizens. Mm-hmm. This is essential. And we who have the power and influence to move capital mm-hmm. have a great responsibility.
Mm-hmm. That's true. So are there any more questions from our audience? I don't think so. Are there any words you want to share with us at last words?
I like to say and remind myself mm-hmm. that the future is watching us. We are being studied. We who have so much opportunity, so much influence, and so much power. They want to know what we did mm-hmm. when faced with global challenges of inequity, of reduction of soil, of any number of challenges that have been created by the success of the human species. We are the ancestors of the future. They are counting on us. They are watching. And they want to see us do the right things, keep doing better, and ensure that life today is only a shadow of what it will be in the future. That is our responsibility as humans.
Really powerful last words. Thank you for that, Joel. Thank you to the audience for watching us and asking these interesting questions. And thank you, Joel, for this interesting talk, inspiring talk. And it was a great pleasure to help you here today and to listen to your words. Thank you for that.
Thank you for your interview, and thanks for this wonderful opportunity.
Great. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.